Give me a second, guys. Waiting for this to go live. There we go. Well, how we doing out there today? We got ourselves some snow here in New England. In a little of a bind. I know we got some kids with no school, so hopefully we got people that are home and just dying to tune into the Daily Reel today. I wanted to share a story with you guys this morning. Not sure how many of you guys are into the organ donating, but in my research for a feel good story today, apparently in New England we're pretty good at this. I am seeing some increased numbers. And the story that I read today was an 8-year-old female who got a heart transplant. And these things are critical. I actually had a really close family friend that was a beneficiary of a heart transplant, and she is on medication and probably will be for the rest of her life. But just amazing story that the doctors today can do this stuff. So if you're in a position and you haven't signed up, I would just highly encourage you to do so, because saving somebody's life is just probably one of the best things that you can do as a human on this planet. So, Lauren, I see your hand was up.
Way to pull all the heartstrings this morning, Steve. So my stepmother had a heart transplant just a little over a year ago. It has been a super long, hard year. She never fully has recovered and don't know that she will. And so grateful every day for the opportunity that she's had to continue living. Um, but it really is amazing everything they can do. I've been an organ donor, like on the organ donor list for forever, and watching and seeing all the medical advances and everything has actually made my daughter's decision that she wants to go to med school and be like a cardiothoracic surgeon to be able to help more people.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Anybody else want to just share a story around the process, something that's affected you in your life? I think it's a pretty important topic. And um, if anybody wants to just add some color, we'd love to hear it. And I know you guys can struggle with the hand raising, so you got to go under reactions if you're on the Zoom call. Under reactions is how you raise your hand. If you can't figure it out, just let me know, and just start speaking, and we'll take it in. If not, let's just switch over to some real estate today. Does somebody have something going on a transaction that you'd like to bring to the table, or just a question on something that you observed, a training that you took? What do you got? All of you guys, we don't have something going on a deal. I will defer to a training that I did on Tuesday. We did a training on Tuesday, part of a kind of a master agent playbook that I'm trying to put together with all the kind of fundamentals of what it takes to be a great agent. And we on Tuesday discussed CRM mastery. And it was interesting as I was kind of putting the CRM mastery playbook together, on how many different little things you've got to get right to be a CRM master. We've talked about productivity and trying to be efficient, and I think so much data is coming at us these days that it's getting harder and harder. People are getting stuck in email. They're getting stuck on social. Maybe you're even getting stuck in your CRM, where you're looking at it and you're just going, I don't even know where to start here. So I think with the CRM stuff, if you haven't taken the time to really dive in, I would encourage you to do so. Try and get yourself organized. Try and get your stages right. Try and get your tags right. Try and get your automations right. We talked a lot about utilizing the templates. If you are, hey, I've got my CRM. but I don't have all my templates set up, or I'm not in a position where I utilize my templates on the daily, I think you're making a big mistake. And that's why you're not getting efficient. You're not getting in there. Um, when Lauren does her training, which actually a little plug for Lauren in her pipeline review that she's going to do right after this call. She does it every Thursday from 9 to 10, where we're diving into the agent's CRMs. They're just asked to share their screen, show me your latest lead, and then maybe show me your leads that are a week old, that are a month old, and then what are you doing to stay in touch with those leads? And I can't tell you how many times it's the old leads. I think the data says 50% of the deals that we close are more than 6 months old. 50%. So if you could take some time to make sure you've got a systematic approach to your lead follow-up. I don't know if anybody wants to share. Does anybody feel like they really are a CRM master? Or, you know what? Maybe you're not a CRM master, but you picked up this one little technique that's helping you on your lead follow-up game. Anybody want to share on this topic? I can just continue talking because I can talk forever about CRM. Um, I think the agents that are operating at the highest level are taking advantage of a little bit of AI. And what I mean by that is utilizing the smart lists, not necessarily AI for follow up. And we've got that as part of our CRM as well. But utilize at a minimum smart lists. If you are going in every day and you are opening up your CRM, but you are randomly picking who you're going to follow up with, and you don't have a systematic approach, I think you're making a big mistake. And I think it's a really, really easy fix. Hopefully, you're utilizing a CRM that has a smart list function. I think most of them do at this point. But in an ideal world, you've got your smart list set up. This is my first list that I want to attack every single day. Our recommendation is these are new leads that you've received that you've never contacted. Right? So that list we should be getting down to 0 every single day. Hey, new lead came in, haven't been able to get them on the phone, right? And for whatever it is that you're capable of, and I think everybody's got to be a little bit different. If you are a newer agent, that might go on for 10 days, right? Every lead that you get for 10 days, you are trying to reach out and get that person on the phone. Maybe you're a little bit more experienced agent. Maybe you're a little bit busier at this time. Maybe it's 2 or 3 days in a row. But the data, we threw up some data from a Harvard Business Review study that was done. And if you can get your attempts up to 6, 90% of the people that are reachable, you'll be able to reach. But if you're stopping at 1 or 2 or even 3, right? It's just people are so busy. Think about how much stuff is being thrown at you, how many emails you're getting, how many social media dings you're getting, how many meetings you got to attend, how much business you're doing. Then you throw in your family and your friends and your kids, right? So people are just busy. It's not that they don't want your services, but we've got to take some time to follow up. And that's where the templates really come into play. It was interesting because the CRM playbook forced me to look through some of our best strategies. And one of the things I think that you can up your game with no additional work is looking at the voicemails that you're leaving. Right? When you're following up with a lead and you're just saying, hey, I was just following up about 123 Main Street. Get back to me if you're interested, or I'd love to show it to you, or right? That might be first voicemail, but what are you doing to add some value on voicemail number 2, voicemail number 3? Right? We can't be leaving the same voicemail, so have a systematic approach on your voicemails. The second voicemail, our recommendation is follow up about a couple other properties. Maybe you start with, hey, on 123 Main Street, I was following up, but I also found 2 others that I thought you might be interested in that were similar. Right? Talk a little bit about your experience in your third voicemail, right? And why that matters with an agent today. So just have an approach with your follow-up. I think if we could just get a little bit better, especially right now, we're not in our busy season. We should be reaching out to as many people as we can. And then once you're past the leads, right? So we've got our, hey, new no contact. Then maybe our second smart list is people that are active on our website. Right? And then maybe it's, hey, people that I'm showing homes to, but I haven't talked to in the past couple of weeks. Then it's say people that I've written offers for, but I haven't talked to in the past week. These are my hottest people. How can I go a week without talking to these folks? And then take the same approach with your sphere, right? I would love to see a list of my A's, my SOI A's that I haven't talked to in more than 3 months. We get stuck in that rut of, you know what? We talk to the same people over and over. It's part of our daily grind. But man, I'm sure you guys have got A's that you haven't reached out to in more than 90 days. Just, hey, what's going on? How can I help real estate wise? What can I add? How can I contribute? Can I help your business in any way if they're a business person? So making sure that we're strategic with who we're talking to. Let's just pause there. What are we thinking on CRM mastery? Does anybody have any questions? Linda, your hand is up.
Yes, I just wanted to say that I absolutely adore Follow Up Boss because you have to put in, after you have reached out to somebody, a task, a follow-up task. And so I never ever would leave that lead on Follow-Up Boss without putting in the next task and then and putting in a concrete date that I have to reach out to them, because I can't possibly remember anybody that I have to be contacting or when I have to be contacting them. And so, come the next day or what next week or whenever it is, it's right there. It tells me who I have to call. So I don't have to think about it. Yes, I have to think about, to your point, what I'm going to say to them this time, right? However, I mean, I've never been so productive in terms of sitting down and I don't have to think about it. I just do. And so as long as you don't leave that contacts page without putting in, in the calendar, the next task, then you never have to worry about missing them. And so it's just brilliant. And it just kept me busy so that every morning I would sit down and I would go for a good hour to 2 hours in contacting all the people on my task list.
Yeah, I mean the ability to kind of mix and match, I think, smart list with task list, I think is an expert player in CRM, right? If you're going to try and set tasks for everything that you need to do, I think you're going to end up with a task list that you're never going to tackle. So it's trying to go when I've got something very, very specific that I've got to do, I've got to put that in there as a task. But my general, hey, these are the groups of people that I need to follow up with when I have 30, 60 minutes to just sit down and make some dials, send some texts, are people that I haven't spoken to yet, people that are active on my site, right? We don't want to be following up with the people that aren't taking activity on our websites. One of the brilliant things with our Zillow partnership is we can actually now see when they're on Zillow, not just when they're on our site, but when they're on the Zillow site. Right? So now we've got some really good insight as to, hey, these are the most active people. Let's get on the horn and let's say something. Now, what you say, the voicemail that you leave, the text message that you send, right? And if you're using something, you're not part of a team, you don't have a system set up, just have your ChatGPT open as you're making your follow up. If it's a lead that's ghosted you, just put into ChatGPT, looking for some follow up text that I could send to a real estate lead that's ghosting me. It's going to give you some really, really good tips. Hey, give me 5 different approaches that I could take. Right? And the more info you give it, the better off you're going to be. Hey, this person came in a lead in this price point, in this marketplace, on this date. How should I reach out? What could I send them that would at least get them curious and a chance that they're going to respond back? Lauren, anything in particular from pipeline review that you're like, hey, this is working? I'm assuming our most responsive thing is when we're pushing listings out,
Yeah,
right?
so push listings are always going to be huge. I like you could probably talk about CRMs for a very long time. I think Linda hit something in utilizing tasks, as did you, and they have to work together. And just have a system in place for yourself on how you're going to work within your system and just do it. All these tools are there, they're great. You could have the best best setup, best smart list that tells you, hey, if you call these 10 people every single week, you're going to close an average of X amount of business every single year. But it's the building of the habit and just getting in there. And sometimes you have to play with it a couple times to find what that right order for you is. But most people just get overwhelmed with it and don't do it enough. So even like I know we had touched upon like the 30-minute, right, work through your CRM, and that's 10 minutes 3 times a day. And that is going to make a huge difference if you're somebody that's not regularly getting into your system.
I think the latest thing that if you guys want to get really advanced and try some high level AI stuff, would be to start looking up these leads via another platform like a Perplexity, right? So just put the information that you have and just ask Perplexity, what can you tell me about this person? Right? Is there something there, right, that you're going to be able to connect with that individual? So put their name, put their email, put their phone number, ask Perplexity, hey, and we've tried this with ChatGPT and it doesn't work quite as well. I think Perplexity is the better platform and you do have to pay for the pro level of this. So it's going to cost you, I think, $20 a month. But throw that person into Perplexity and then see if there's something in there. What can you tell me about this person at a level that I might be able to connect? Right? You can ask it to go find their LinkedIn profile, find their other social media profiles, right? Maybe you can connect with them over there. We've talked about connecting people where they like to communicate. So if we can find the modality that gets to them and just show a little bit of grit that you're really trying to get to the bottom of every lead that you receive, right? And if you're an experienced agent and you're not working leads, I'd be doing this with just a regular person, right? Wouldn't it be nice to just know a little bit more about the person that you're about to reach out to? So it really will dig up some really interesting stuff, and it probably takes, I don't know, 15 seconds per person that you give it to go out, do the research, and come back and give you some contact information. Anybody playing around with any AI or trying any of this stuff for lead follow-up, sphere follow-up, and want to share?
I'll speak
I will
to it.
go ahead.
So I have played around and especially a lot intentionally with the free version of like a chat GPT because I know it's really the most universal that anybody can just hop on the website and utilize. And you get some pretty decent responses, right? I've definitely compared to some of the info that Steve's able to pull from his paid subscriptions, but using something, right? Don't ever let yourself just get stuck. And then also learned a trick where you can sort of have ChatGPT, if you're just getting into it, learn you a little bit before you start working within it, which is a really great tool. Say, hey, I need you to ask me, 10 questions about myself so that you can learn and how to respond to me as I'm asking you prompts in the future. Just so you know, I am in this industry, go ahead. And then it'll kind of deal a little bit deeper into finding out, how you like to communicate, when the type of business you run, things like that. And then if you go into your prompting for now, I need a way to respond to my clients for this, that, or another thing, you get something that's a little bit more personalized really quickly rather than having to take all the time for the system to learn what you like and don't like.
And I know this stuff can start to feel a little bit overwhelming, but I promise you, it's only going to get more and more. So you've got to start to get a baseline of a level of comfortability with this stuff because the agent of the future is going to have to be AI powered, right? Because your competitors are going to learn this stuff and they're going to be able to, dive a little bit deeper, connect at a higher level, find the modality that works for these people. So start to just play around with this stuff, have it as like a little co-pilot on whatever you're doing and see what kind of information you can get back. Anything else on CRM stuff, on AI stuff? What other questions might we have? All right, let me share my screen. I wanted to throw out a closing technique that I'm a big fan of. So let's try and put this up there. So this is a screen share of Alex Hormozy. Alex is kind of famous for building up a big gym empire, selling that, and now he's kind of one of these social media content creators, but he's also a business investor. So he's been in a lot of deal negotiation situations, right? And I hadn't heard of this. It's a very simple close that I think, given the right situation, could really help you guys. So let's play this.
1 to 10 close. On a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being we're moving forward, 1 being you hate me and you never want to talk to me again. Where are we at right now with this program? So let's say they say 6, and you're like, all right, why not a 1? And then they tell you all the reasons that this is good, and you're like, got it. So then what would it take to get to a 10? A lot of times they don't have anything. They're like, it's like, all right, well, it sounds like it's not about the program. So what are you afraid of having happen? And so then that gets you to sidestep so you can go straight to the issue. And obviously if they do give you something that gets you to 10, most times it's like, oh, I just didn't tell you that. We have that, my bad. That's on me. So we feeling 10-ish now? Great, let's go. Do you guys know how to do the 1 to 10?
So super, super simple, right? There's not much to remember, but I could see some scenarios where we're just trying to get over the finish line to nail down the deal, throwing this out there and trying to basically, what in my mind, what you're using this for is just to try and get the information that they're not willing to just naturally divulge to you, right? They're going to give you some sort of a number. It's not going to be 1. It's not going to be 10, right? And then using that to say, hey, what's it going to take to get us to a 10? What are the hesitations? So I think it's a good way to kind of just get them to just spill the beans a little bit about what the real hesitation might be. Anybody have any comments on that? I think just given that, practice that a little bit, try it in your next negotiation. Maybe you're at a listing appointment and you're trying to get the close, trying to get that listing agreement signed. I think it's a pretty easy one to pull out and utilize. And then Chris was just saying here, I'll throw this one up on the screen. Jason Pantana on the Real Academy teaches some amazing AI classes, so you can check that out. I mean, I feel like every time I get onto some sort of social media now, somebody's promoting some sort of an AI class, And if you just went on YouTube and you're not feeling comfortable right now with AI, get on YouTube. I would just search up, AI for beginners, AI ChatGPT beginner class, something along those lines. Just get yourself comfortable. Start to play. Start to learn the prompting, because it's going to come hot and heavy in 2025 for sure. And we want you guys to feel comfortable utilizing this stuff as your co-pilot. Any other AI stuff that people wanted to share, training that you've took? Thank you, Amanda. We see you. We want you to attend live and join these calls. All right, then I got a question for you guys, because I saw doing my little bit of homework here, and this is a call or a question for the females that are on the call. So in looking up my good stories to share, there's a company out there. The name of this company is called Alegna. So it's a rideshare app for women only. Right, so only women can request, only women drivers, kind of focusing on a safety thing. But my question is, how can a company like this succeed when it would seem to me that the existing companies could just say, I want to add a button that says, I want to request a female driver, right? Because you feel like that's a safe thing. So I don't know if anybody's got any experience with this. I use rideshare all the time when I travel. I think it's just the greatest thing. But I was looking for a little bit of perspective here on this one. Lauren.
So my thought is they probably won't really succeed, because exactly like you said, the bigger companies will implement their own version of it if they see that there is too much traction going over there, which will instantly squash them. But I think it's a feel-good thing. write something made specifically for me for my safety. And I think it'll draw the attention, but I don't think it could ever solely survive as just a single streamline. And I feel that way, I guess, about a lot of things, right? Even products themselves, things that have one function really just can't ever last that long because we always want things to do more than one.
I appreciate your perspective. I'm just trying to see what I might be missing when I saw this. I'm like, really cool idea. Then, and they're expanding into Las Vegas. I think this is like their second market. And, obviously I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I love business. I love watching what entrepreneurs are able to build. And I think what AI is going to allow is for people to be a lot more creative. I think there is definitely some concern about jobs where you're sitting behind a desk. But if you can learn this stuff and get a little bit of tech savvy, I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities to use AI to create more stuff, especially as it learns to code better and build websites and build apps. You're going to be able to just speak to it and say, I want an app that does this. It'll write all the code. No design, kind of background needed. I mean, that's the world that we're going to. One of the coolest things that I heard with AI, and you guys are starting to see some of this video creation stuff, is you are going to be able to write additional seasons of your favorite show. Right. So imagine, hey, for me, it would be Seinfeld. That is just my all-time favorite. When I need to chill, I am going to Seinfeld. And hey, give me one more season of Seinfeld. And I'd love to see this, and this happen. Right. And then it is going to auto-generate additional episodes. And so that's the level of creation that we're going to be able to get to, which is pretty wild. I mean, if you guys have played with any of these video creators, right now, you could say, hey, I want a, tiger, jumping across the street wearing a leprechaun hat and dunking a basketball, and it'll create that video for you, right? So once it starts to get more data into it, it's going to be able to literally recreate additional seasons. Obviously, there'll be some copyright stuff that you got to look out for, but I don't know. It's just crazy. And I think we are crazy to not be as entrepreneurs, because that's really what we all are. We're all entrepreneurs on this bus ride trying to figure it all out together. I think you're crazy if you're not looking at this stuff and playing with it just to get a comfort level. And hopefully, if you guys are finding something that's working for you, come and share it. And I'm going to do the same. I really do think trying to look up leads and find some information on them prior to reaching out, trying to get a little bit more information. You get a sphere to sphere referral, right? Throwing them into Perplexity before you make that first phone call, just to see kind of what some of the commonalities are. What do they do for work? It's gonna look through all their social profiles. It's gonna find that stuff. So it's pretty wild. And once you're comfortable with it, you can bang it out really, really quickly. Okay, let's get a final share up on the screen. These are the trainings that are available today. There is a new agent starter series, Master Your Sphere, Facebook Ads 101, Build Mastermind, the Real Agent Society, and Niche Marketing and Branding. So bunch of opportunities today. If you're stuck here in New England in the snow, maybe it's a good day to take a training and come back and report what you learned. And if you're in sunny Florida, just be blessed that you're not dealing with the snowstorm that we are. So appreciate you guys. Love doing this every morning. We'll go and do it one more time. We got Finance Friday tomorrow. Go have yourselves a great Thursday. Take care.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.